Hello everyone. So I just finished filming a sit down talky kind of video, so I thought I would also do a vlog today because it's only 10:30 in the morning and I've already filmed a video, and that is very productive for me, so I thought why not try and do another one today. It is Tuesday and it is bin day, so I'm really sorry if you can hear really loud crashing outside my window. If you watched a couple of videos ago, I talked about having no client work. I was very honest and open about how I've gone through quite a long quiet patch, so you'll be pleased to know that I have some client work. It's nothing massive, it's just an editorial project, but I thought I would vlog the process because I thought it might be interesting for you to see how I go from rough stage to final artwork and the kind of correspondence we have, and also the contract and things like that. So yeah, I thought I would vlog my day. These are the sketches that I'm going to be working from today. These are the roughs that I sent to the client. I'm not going to be able to show you what I'm working on, but there are 10 illustrations here ready to paint. So I'm going to be doing some portraiture and some food illustration. So let's talk a little bit about the project and how it came to be. So I was contacted about a week ago, well, exactly a week ago actually, by the art director who was looking for an illustrator, and I said that I was available, but I needed to negotiate a slightly higher price. I worded it, in case you're wondering. I said, "It's great to hear from you, thank you for getting in touch. I'm certainly available for the commission and the timings will be no problem. The fee for the work is a little lower than my typical rates, however. I was wondering if the budget could be stretched to," and then gave my amount. It wasn't a crazy increase from what their initial budget was. They agreed, which was really great, because sometimes they can just say, no, we don't have any more in the budget, and that's completely understandable as well, but it's very nice of them to increase the budget for me. And then the process was to see the contract, which was all fine. No crazy license or anything, it was just a really appropriate amount of time given that this is just going to be for one magazine. So the license was about 60 days. Yeah, I signed that contract and sent it back to them. At the same time I received the contract, I also received the brief, so they were outlining what I would be painting and the sort of feel of the article and the subject matter, and from that I produced the sketches. The sketches have now been approved with a few small tweaks, which will be no problem at all. And yeah, from now until, well, I have 8 days, including a weekend, which I'll hopefully not have to work, to produce the final illustrations. Yeah, which seems like a completely reasonable amount of time. It's actually quite generous for an editorial commission. Sometimes they need it in just like a couple of days turnaround, so this is more than manageable. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to show you the finished pieces or give you any details about the client or the project or the article or anything like that. Just thought you might be interested in learning about the time frame of a commission. For lunch today I have these rice paper spring roll things, and they just have asparagus, kale, peppers and some mock duck filling inside them and spring onions, and then I made like a satay, kind of quick satay sauce, which is just peanut butter, soy sauce, maple syrup and a bit of hot sauce, and then some spring onions in there. So it looks gross, but it will taste nice, and it's nice and quick, healthy lunch. About 2:30 and I just got back from the dog walk, and I thought that whilst I'm getting on with work that I can't necessarily show you, I thought that I would answer some questions that have been asked on Instagram, because earlier I asked if anyone had any questions about illustration jobs and the process involved and all that kind of stuff, and I got some good questions, so I'm going to answer some of them whilst I paint, because I feel like that's a good use of time, although I am going to have to keep stopping painting to get a question, but that shouldn't be too hard. Okay, so one of the first questions I got was from Kimmy. I just wanted to know how you inform new potential clients about prices, licensing, kill fees. Do you just casually write it in an email, or do you have a terms and conditions document? They said that when they send potential information to clients, often the clients won't respond. Do I inform new potential clients about pricing? I would say that I don't. Most of the time I don't need to, because they will have a contract. I'd say like 95% of the time I don't need to write a contract because they already have one for the job. The one thing that I do have to set out myself to the client is pricing usually. Sometimes they have a budget and sometimes that budget is fine. But like this project, for example, that I'm working on now, I needed to negotiate a higher fee. Maybe these clients aren't getting back in contact with you because they wanted to get away with not paying you, or maybe something dodgy is going on there. I think it's kind of their loss for not responding. And obviously you don't want to bombard clients as soon as they contact you with all your different terms, conditions, blah, blah, blah. You want to keep it quite friendly and open and positive. If within the first few emails you don't start discussing budget and they don't mention anything about a contract, then it's definitely worth bringing it up then and just asking if they have a contract for this project and if they have a budget in mind. And if they don't, then say that you will work out a quote for them and you will also draw up a contract. I am actually struggling quite a lot with painting and answering questions. Hopefully I'm doing okay. Kimmy asked another question. Do I have drafts in my inbox for replying to different types of clients when they contact me? No. No, I definitely do not have that. I'm not that organised. I don't think it's that necessary either. You just need a bit of experience, I think, with speaking to clients. You'll find that it's actually not that complicated. As soon as you know what to look out for with contracts, and as soon as you get to grips with how much to charge, it's not a complicated matter to email clients and to have a back and forth with them, at least I find. The only thing that scares me about talking to clients is if we have to do a phone call, or even worse than that, a conference call, which has happened for bigger jobs that I've taken on, and I hate that kind of stuff, but I don't think I'm the only one. A lot of people have asked me how I get client work, and I actually filmed another video about that today, so that will be going up soon. So I'm not going to answer any of those types of questions in this video. That will be a separate video. Neon Honey Kisses asked me, do I show a very rough sketch at the beginning, or do I make something more detailed? And also, how many different options of a design do I give to a client to choose from? Okay, that's a good question. For me, I will send... Usually it only needs 1 or 2 rounds of sketches before I'm able to get started on final artwork. With this project, for example, I only needed 1 round of rough pencil sketches for them to agree with the direction I was going in. At sketches stage, I never really use paint because it's too long-winded. Natalie says, I'd love to know if you've ever taken on something you were scared to do or you've never done before. The project that's coming to my mind right now is the footballers project that I did last year, and the finished product is actually out now. I'll include some images of it. It's for some playing cards, and it was full body portraits of famous footballers, and I don't know why, but for some reason this just felt really outside of my comfort zone. I think because I didn't know anything about football. I was being asked to paint a lot of different kits and very specific details, having to get the likeness of a player whilst also showing their full body in a very kind of active pose. So that was a very challenging project for me, and I was nervous about doing it, but at the same time I saw it as a really good opportunity to grow. As long as I'm not going to absolutely hate the project from start to finish, I think it's good to be a little bit nervous and apprehensive about it because it means you really care. Millie asked me who sets the deadline for client work. Does the client give you a date they need the work by, or do you give them a date? Most of the time, the client will tell me their date that they need the work by, and it's kind of the illustrator's job to be quite accommodating, and often you'll be working to tight deadlines, but you have to kind of accept that as part of the industry, unfortunately. Although I find that there really is a limit to how much overtime and how much late nights I can manage, and as I'm getting older, I'm finding that the idea of working all night is becoming less and less appealing. So if they're asking for a ridiculously tight deadline, I will say, do you have a couple more days in the timeline that you can give me? And if they don't, then I will ask for a rush fee. Yeah, usually the client tells me when the deadlines will be. For an editorial illustration, it can be about a week's turnaround, maybe even less if they're particularly unorganised. For larger projects, it might be a month or a couple of months. I think you do have to be quite flexible and quite willing to work fast to meet their deadlines, because more often than not, they are pretty tight and pretty fast. Object Studio asked, how do I pitch to brands and magazines? I don't do any pitching at all, no. I just have a portfolio of my work online. I contact a few people that I'm particularly interested in working with. Other than that, I just promote myself online and they come to me. I don't do free pitches or anything like that. Ty asked me, how do I stay disciplined to meet deadlines? Well, if I don't meet my deadlines, then that reflects really, really badly on my business, and it reflects badly on illustrators as a whole. I don't think it's a good idea to be getting a reputation for letting clients down. I just treat it as incredibly important, and also if I don't meet my deadlines, I don't get paid, so that's how I stay disciplined. Heidi asked me, is payment usually net 30? I have a project for a big company and it's been almost 30 days since the deadline and I haven't been paid. Is this normal? Yes, incredibly normal, and it's incredibly frustrating. I find most of my clients don't pay me until a couple of days before the invoice is overdue, or quite often it's when the invoice is overdue and I then have to prompt them to pay me. I see a lot of other illustrators complaining about as well. Chelsea asked me, how do I stay committed with jobs that I don't feel personally connected to or inspired by? My immediate response to this is just money. I think it's unrealistic to think that all of the jobs you do as an illustrator are going to be the most inspiring and enjoyable jobs that you do, because often they're not the most enjoyable. And I know I'm really lucky to have this job because I love painting, but some of the jobs are a bit boring and they're not really a subject matter that I would ever choose to focus on was I not being paid for the work. So really, yeah, the only thing that keeps me going with that kind of work is just money, and just kind of accepting that not every job is going to be really inspiring and amazing, and it just makes you appreciate those jobs that come along that are exactly what you want to be doing. That just make you appreciate them that bit more. Okay, my camera ran out of battery, so I charged it and I had some dinner, and I think I'm going to, as this video I think is getting quite long now, I'm going to answer one last question. Thank you to everyone who sent me questions. I had some really, really good ones today. Okay, I have two sort of similar questions, so I'll answer both of them. One from Mari. They asked, how do I get paid by clients? Is it PayPal or check? It's neither of those. It's mostly a bank transfer. That's what I tend to prefer to use because it's the quickest way to get paid. I do sometimes get checks in the mail, but they usually arrive quite late, and then also there's like a processing time, especially if they're checks from international clients. There's like a processing time, and I usually get paid quite late by checks, so I always encourage a bank transfer if possible. Laura asked something similar about accounting, how I keep track of invoices, payments and tax stuff. Well, I have an accountant who does all my tax stuff, does the majority of it anyway, which I'm really grateful for because I hate tax stuff and it really stresses me out, and I always just feel like I'm doing it wrong, so to have him there as moral support is really great. I also use a piece of accounting software that I'll leave linked below that my accountant set me up on. I invoice all my clients through there, and I can keep track of when the payment is due, and also sends automatic reminders to my clients if the invoice is overdue, so that's good. So I'm going to crack on with some painting this evening, and then I'll edit this video. I really hope you enjoyed this Q&A. I might do another Q&A in future. Look out for the video coming soon about how I get clients and my experience there. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!